What's up, movie lovers? We're the Hills Maniacs, and today we're going to be talking about our top 5 favorite movie quotes of all time. So the way this works is we've both picked a list of our personal 5 favorite quotes from movies, and we're going to kind of just go down that list. If we have some that are the same, then we'll both just discuss it. I highly doubt we both have any that are exactly the same, because there's so many quotes out there from famous movies.
And I will say real quick too, I don't know about you, but for me personally, I just kind of went with ones that not necessarily are ones that everybody quotes, but just that are ones that are,
that's what I tried
for me, either are very oh man, that makes you think, or ones that are just funny that I just love every time I hear it, I laugh type of thing.
Yeah, that's kind of what I went with.
That's kind of how I did my top 5. So.
Mine, I kind of went with more sort of inspirational kind of ones, where you can use it in your own life and that kind of thing. So that's kind of the ones I went with, but you'll see when we get to the list. I'll start with my first one. I think you know what this quote is. Let me know if you know who said this, right? When life gets you down, you know what you gotta do? Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. That was Dory from Finding Nemo. I don't know, I just like this quote because it's like she says, when life gets you down.
It starts off as an inspirational quote.
Well, and it's still, you can take it to mean just keep swimming, as in just keep pushing forward, even when something is getting you down or you're down on your luck in life or whatever. Just keep pushing through it. I think that's probably what the lesson of Finding Nemo was in the first place. With Marlin having to keep swimming until he got to his son and all that kind of stuff. And you can kind of use that in your daily life. Just think about that in your head. It's kind of catchy too. It's just keep swimming. But
just keep swimming through life.
Swimming through life, and don't let things get you down. I guess that's kind of why I like that quote so much.
I mean that one's good, but I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora? That's one of my favorites. It's just improvised. Dave Bautista just went off and because they were talking in Avengers: Infinity War. They said, Star-Lord said, "Where's Gamora?" And then Tony Stark said, "Who's Gamora?" Or "I'll do you one better. Who's Gamora?" And then Drax, laying on the floor with a knife to his head or whatever, says, "I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora?" So it was just fun.
That was an unanswered question
hilarious.
from the MCU that never.
So that's why I put it on here, just because it makes me laugh every time I hear it.
My next one, I kind of like this one as a really good life quote. It's from Charles Xavier, just in some of the X-Men movies, and I think even recently in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Just because someone stumbles and loses their way doesn't mean they're lost forever. And that's kind of like when you get lost in life, you don't know where you're going or what's going to happen next with your life and that kind of stuff. Just because you stumble or take a different path than what your family or friends are doing and stuff, or you go down the wrong road and you're kind of dealing with something in life now, dealing with the consequences of going down that wrong road, it doesn't mean you're lost forever. You can find your way back. And I kind of like that, because everybody can use that in life. We all stumble, we all do things we shouldn't, and then we regret it. But that doesn't mean we have to let that define us. You can just you can get back to who you were before that. You don't have to let it define you, kind of thing. And I really like that. As I don't know if he said that in the comics too, or if they made that exclusive for the X-Men movies and stuff. But I think just overall, not just for superhero movies and stuff, but just in general, I think that's a really good quote to take from any movie that's ever been made.
That is a good one, and I guess I'll go with a serious one too, since you did. Sticking with the kind of superhero theme, I went with one from the Dark Knight. So it's you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, and it's basically saying that you can either do good now or realize someday when you're gone that you're
that you missed out on it, and
so you can so you do you die doing good, or you live long enough and then you're like, oh, I should have done this
maybe I
a
should have
different
done
way
more,
than what I should have did, or I
Right.
should have did something different, or whatever. And it's just kind of one of those, one of those quotes that makes you think.
It's kind of like, don't waste your
Don't
life,
waste your life,
don't
is
waste your
basically
life
what I'm saying.
being a bad person or whatever, because like you have the chance to do good.
Because you never know when your last moment is.
Right. Okay. And kind of in connection with that, then I also have one from the Dark Knight trilogy, or at least I think it was the first Batman Begins, maybe. It was from Alfred Pennyworth. He says, "Why do we fall, sir? So that we can learn to pick ourselves up." I like that because it's like, when you fall in life, kind of like the Charles Xavier one, like when you stumble in life, it's like, why does this happen? Why did this thing happen to me? It's so that you can learn to fight through it, so that next time if that happens, like you're ready to go, you can fight back or whatever.
You know how to get.
You know how to get yourself
fight back.
through it
Yeah.
if that thing ever happens to you again. Or maybe you can even find someone to help you or that kind of thing. You know how to handle it the next time that thing comes around. And that's a good lesson for life, in my opinion.
That is a good, life lesson there. But I think it's time to kind of go back to the silliness of this for a second here.
We've been too serious.
I picked one. I do have a couple more serious ones, okay? But one of my favorite quotes, just because of the way it was delivered and the fact that he fell down the steps afterwards and still managed to keep character, is from Jack Sparrow in, I forget which part of the Caribbean it is. I think the second one, because it had Davy Jones's heart in the jar. So he goes, "I got a jar of dirt, I got a jar of dirt, and guess what's inside it?" And he falls down the steps, keeping character, stands back up. He wasn't supposed to fall down the steps. He misstepped and fell down the steps. I'm not saying it was funny that he fell down the steps, but the fact that he was able to get back up, keeping it in character, and they left it in the movie. Who comes up with that? Like, Johnny Depp was just like, "I'm just gonna sing, I got a jar of dirt."
Maybe that was in the script, but
it could have been in the script too. But even still, somebody had to write that, knowing how Jack Sparrow was. The fact that he would keep Davy Jones's heart in the jar and then run around with it and stuff, and then show it off by waving it around and dancing and being all funny and stuff. It's literally one of the funniest things I've seen in any of the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right, that's like a memorable quote too if you're a fan of like Pirates of the Caribbean or something.
Yeah, they made memes of it and everything.
Running away with the jar of dirt.
They made memes of it and everything, so that's why it's on my list.
The next one I have is kind of another superhero one. It's from Avengers Endgame. It was said by Frigga to Thor when he went back in time. It's the measure of a person, of a hero, is how well they succeed at being who they are. So it's kind of like, no matter what happens, like if you stay true to who you are, you can get through. That makes you more of like a man or whatever than confiding with everybody else and siding with the way the world wants you to behave or whatever, and not sticking true to who you are, kind of thing. I thought that was just like a really cool quote to take from a superhero movie of all things.
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of those in there too. There's one from Black Widow that's kind of similar to that. I don't remember the exact words, but it was again something kind of like staying true to who you are or something. Or don't let the world tell you who you should be, or something along those lines. I was going to use that one too, but I thought this one was a little bit better. But
pretty close.
Still, those kind of quotes just from a superhero movie, I just think that's what makes these superhero movies a lot of fun to watch. Not just for the action and stuff, but you get moments like this that's really like impactful, and you can remember that and use that in life later on when you're struggling with something.
So my next one, I guess you're also sticking with the superhero theme. Is from the Spider-Man movie, the first one, the Sony Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie, and from Uncle Ben, when he says, "With great power comes great responsibility."
I had that on here originally, but I took it off.
I think it's just one of those quotes that it's not just for Spider-Man. That's for everybody, and it's basically making you think that if you become rich or successful, there's a burden that comes with that, and everybody has to go through that and live with it and learn how to adjust to that burden or that responsibility. And so it was basically a quote meant for Spider-Man that you can also use every day.
And finally, the last one that I kind of chose is one from Star Wars, of all places. It's from Master Yoda himself. The greatest teacher failure is. And that's kind of another thing, it's sort of similar to the one that Alfred said, like, why do we fall? So we learn to pick ourselves up. That's kind of what Yoda's saying there. It's like, we have to fail in order to learn how to succeed at this thing next time around. You're not always going to get what you want,
especially
right
on
away.
The first try.
Right. So like, you got to keep working at it until you finally achieve whatever it is your dream is or whatever you're going after. You know, there's a lot of movies that teach that lesson, but just from this one quote or even those two quotes that I said, you know, that's a good thing to live by. Like, even though you're failing, like, keep trying, keep at it, so that eventually you can succeed at it. You know, that's kind of what Yoda was saying in those short amount of words that he says backwards. But
because he can.
Yeah, you know, that's one you could like put on a wall or something. You know, like the greatest teacher failure is, you know, kind of thing, just to inspire yourself to keep trying no matter what.
I mean, yeah, that's the wise words of Master Yoda. But my number one is actually from Harry Potter. It's good old Albus Dumbledore, and he says, "Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light." And it's basically showing that no matter how tough your life gets, and no matter what you're going through, find that light or what makes you happy, and use it to push out that darkness. Use it to push out whatever negativity there is. Yeah, it's one of those quotes that, again, it's like it was meant for the students of Hogwarts, and it was given during a dark time for them, but it can also be used, you know, in real life. So.
Or you can also look at it as you can be the light in someone else's darkness,
yes.
And if they're, you know, they're down right now or whatever, you can lift them up and, like, you know, help them get through it or whatever. Like, you can be the light that turns on to give them the happiness in the darkness, you know, essentially. So you can look at it in two different ways, and that's kind of the best quotes, is the ones that you can look at in several different ways and get different meaning out of it depending on what you need at that specific moment or whatever. You know, that's kind of how the best quotes in movies work. Well, there you go, guys. Those were our picks for our top 5 favorite movie quotes of all time. Let us know what your favorite movie quote is down in the comments section. Also, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more.
And remember, it does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live.
Bye, guys.